Als einem Monat wird in Kanada der Cannabiskonsum legalisiert. Einer der Gründe, warum dieser Markt derzeit zu den heißesten Anlagesektoren überhaupt gehört. Wir sprechen heute mit einem spannenden Unternehmen, das von diesem neuen Megatrend profitieren will, Khiron Life Sciences. Heute bei uns ist Chris Nawapra, if I pronounce that correctly,
Correct.
President of the company. Chris, welcome.
Thank you for having us.
Listen, Latin America is in the focus of a lot of cannabis companies at the moment. The big shots like Cannabis Growth, Aurora, they're all going there. So, of course, Khiron is there, already is there.
Yeah.
Can you give us an idea of the size and the potential of the market?
Well, the market is huge, and I think, overall, what we're seeing is an understanding from investors and from companies that the cannabis business is not a North American phenomenon, it's a global phenomenon, and the Latin American market is absolutely massive, and there's 620 million people there. If you look just on the medical side, that's a massive unmet need. Some of those countries will be recreational as well, and that is just too big of a market to ignore. On the second part of it, the market side aside, when you look at the cultivation conditions in Colombia in particular are just absolutely ideal for growing cannabis, and that's why the whole world wants to be there. Colombia is a agriculture export country. The growing conditions are ideal. The infrastructure is excellent. The economy is very stable. The government is very receptive. So I think that's why it's attracting investment interest from around the world.
So, given that the interest in Latin America as a cannabis market is so high at the moment, what makes you think Khiron will play a significant role, or the other way around? What is your strategy to gaining significant market share there? What are your advantages?
Well, I don't think we have to speculate. I think we've already achieved that. We're certainly a company of first. We're the first to get our cultivation licenses, first to get so many of our regulatory matters in order. We're the first ones to get our cosmetics through INVIMA. INVIMA is like Health Canada or the FDA, and we're launching those products very shortly. We're excited about that. We're the first and only ones to do that. We've built an exceptional team of over 50 people in Colombia right now, and we're adding to that with our acquisition of Islands coming up very shortly. We've established a very, very significant presence in Bogota. Now we've established in Mexico City. I think you'll see us very shortly in other jurisdictions, because what we're trying to do is we're trying to build a very significant company and dominate the Latin American medical cannabis market. Now that market is expanding. You're seeing lots of competitors start to come in, but in any business, this is a people business, and you need to form an elite squad. And if you don't have an elite team that's motivated and dedicated, you'll be beaten by another one.
Okay, so that already takes care of one of my questions. Certainly, you're looking to grow further in Latin America, not restricted to Colombia. Can you tell us a bit more about your plans there? Because I had a look at the management team and I was very impressed. But then also you added Vicente Fox, former president of Mexico, to your team. Can you give us a bit of an idea? What are your expansion plans in more detail, and what role is Mr. Fox going to play there?
Sure. Our plans are very straightforward. We want to be the dominant medical cannabis company in Latin America, and to do that, we're focused on the largest urban centers. We're focused on the main 5 or 6 indications on the medical side with simple formulations that have been proven to work all around the world. And when you think about that market, Bogota's 11 million people. Mexico City is 25 million people. If you look at other major centers of Sao Paulo, Santiago, Monterrey, Medellin, these are massive city centers where there right now currently is not that much competition. So we're moving very, very rapidly to expand into all these major urban centers. And really the focus on the medical side is doctor engagement, doctor education. We learned a lot from the experiment of legalization of medical in Canada in 2001. And, they skipped a whole bunch of steps and made a whole bunch of mistakes. The benefit for us is that we get to start fresh, knowing all that and seeing that track record. So doctors won't prescribe what their medical associations won't approve. So we've done a lot of work with medical associations to make them feel comfortable with us. We've held 6 or 7 conferences throughout Colombia and Mexico. We've engaged over 3,000 doctors and made sure that they really understand what prescribing medical cannabis means. Because our goal is to get to 1 million patients. And to do that, we need to do it one doctor at a time and engage them through our conferences, our online tools, our regular doctor detailing, as well as now our expansion into the clinical business.
Okay, very interesting. It's an ambitious goal, but I think you're already about halfway there, which leads us to, can you tell us a bit what you achieved on the product side, on the production side, also after you've talked about your, or let's call it, education program?
Yeah, so we're cultivating now. Everyone is in a race to have all their genetics registered and be ready for commercial production. Ourselves and a handful of other companies will be commercially cultivating here very, very shortly. And that will provide us the chance to get our first prescriptions out, hopefully in Q1. In the meantime, we're also doing our wellness line. We're launching a cosmetic line on October 4th. We're excited about that. We're launching that in Bogota. And what we're trying to do is create a template that we can replicate in other markets. We start in Bogota, we can do that in Medellin, we can do that in Mexico City, we can do that in Monterrey. And you know, to be able to execute on that, we've had to assemble an amazing group of people, and we have done that. You mentioned attracting President Fox. He's an amazing advocate for medical cannabis. He sees the benefits across the board and helping people. And right now, there's millions and millions of people in Latin America that can benefit from this. And right now, their medical needs are completely unmet.
Okay, interesting, but also sounds to me that you need capital to achieve all your goals. Now you just completed a financing successfully. Can you tell us a bit about that? How much cash you have in the bank? What your plans are there?
Sure, we're a growth company, and growth companies consume capital. So we've raised to date $33 million. We just completed a financing, 2 weeks ago for $13 million. That was a full prospectus offering, so what we've tried to build for shareholders is complete transparency. So whether it be our annual information circular that is filed online, our full prospectus is filed online, everything that any investor wants to see, they can see it in a full, transparent way. We're the first Colombian company that's a non-resource company to go public in Canada. We're the only pure play Colombian company right now that's public in Canada. And I think that's part of attracting the attention. And, to get there has been a lot of hard work, and it's a big decision to lay yourself out there and say, listen, guys, we're a small company. Here's everything that not only our investors can find out, but also our competitors as well. So we're starting to see our messages creep into other presentations as well. And that's fine. And we know that others that come behind us will benefit from the hard work that we've already done in country, and that's okay too. But right now we've established a brand, we've established a track record of dealing with people openly and honestly, and we're really, really excited to see the rest of the Latin American markets deregulate.
Yeah, certainly sounds like you're in a good way, but there's a lot of information for people to process. So could you give us your personal opinion? Why now could be a good time to take a position in Khiron, because the stock already has had a nice run up?
Well, listen, we've had a run up, but as far as trying to connect, the share price reflecting the actual value of what we're doing, I don't think we're anywhere near that right now. And a lot of presidents and CEOs will tell you that. But listen, if we take it empirically, so here we are, we're cashed up. I didn't answer your other question. We have about $18 or $19 million on the balance sheet right now, to your earlier question. If you look at the recent transactions in the space right now, we still have a lot of catch up to play here as far as valuation goes. And I think that's what you're seeing in the market. Throughout the summer, when we made that hard decision to do a full prospectus offering, there's a lot of disclosure involved, and investors can see that the deal is coming, and you saw some weakness in the stock. That's now corrected in the right direction. But if you look at the recent Aurora ICC transaction at $290 million, Afria and Cannabis deals at over $200 million, these are deals that we think we are in a exceptionally strong position comparatively speaking, and yet at today's stock price it's not reflective of those values at all. So we appreciate interviews like this and getting our word out, because there's a lot of work for us to do to make sure that people understand the value, understand the direction that we're going. And by the way, we're just getting started.
Okay, I think that's a good point to stop for now, and we'll be sure to check in at a later time and see how everything went and is going. Thank you for taking the time.
Thank you very much for having us.